Thanks for joining us for November 16th, Mount Juliet Monday, and Kenny Martin's our speaker. Um, we'll record these, edit it down for time, and post it on the website so you can go back and take a look at it or be so kind as to even share the videos. So, lots going on. Lots happened since we've spoken with you last, Kenny. So, I'll let you kind of go through your list of updates and got a few things to touch on if you don't mention them. But other than that, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot that's changed since the last time. We're just closer to doing it. First thing, of course, the school. I thought I'd start with that. We continue to get a lot of calls here at the city. I think a lot of folks think that the city has control over when the schools come and go, and we don't. We don't have any control over that. But I will say that the school system's working hard, and it's still an insurance matter, and they just got to get worked through that. I feel confident it will happen, but unfortunately, until the insurance company gives the green light to the school system, they can't tear the schools down. And so I sympathize with that. And anybody that calls us or sends me a note, we make sure we respond in a respectful way. But we want them gone, and we're trying to help the school system get them gone. As a matter of fact, I think I said this the last time. Our fire chief and our building department has said that those schools can't be rebuilt. They'll have to be removed just because there's just too much damage. And we're respectful to insurance companies wanting to keep as much of them as they can. But I've walked through those schools, and I can tell you they are. I wouldn't want any kids to be back in those schools. So I anticipate something real soon. We'd hoped that this would have been done in June, but unfortunately, we just got to wait. And I know it's a reminder that when folks drive down the road and they see that it sort of hurts their heart and it doesn't look good. We get that, but we just got to wait and be patient. So hopefully something will come soon on that.
Thanks for keeping us updated on it.
Yeah, and then another thing that's exciting is on December, I believe it's 5th at 4 p.m. We'll have the Christmas lighting ceremony. Of course, at the corner of Mount Jewett Road, there at the RTA property. And we want to thank Shiloh Baptist Church and some other churches that are getting together to pull that off. They're also going to be, I believe, Miss Tina had sort of been hopeful for this as well, decorating the clock tower. So we can sort of dress up that whole corner for that. And of course, we're trying to encourage our entire business community and, of course, every homeowner, especially those businesses that front Mount Jewett Road, to decorate for Christmas this year. And the reason we want to do that is that I always love Christmas anyway, but with the Christmas store just around the corner and the fact we've all had such a tough year, I thought it'd be really good, not only for the little kids, but for us as well. I think everybody's been through a whole lot, and I think any kind of, you hate to say it's a distraction, but I think we need a distraction from reality for just a minute to focus on something else other than COVID, because we're heading into the winter time, and as everybody can tell by the numbers, the COVID numbers have been going up, and we anticipated that. I think everybody watching anticipated that. I'm no expert by any means, but we've had a little bit of a outbreak here at the city, some of our different departments. We've had some folks come back and test positive, some family members, things of that nature. So we're seeing a bigger impact than we ever have up until this time. But again, we anticipated it. Ray, you've been putting out some good reports. The health department's been putting out reports and, of course, watching what they're saying nationally. So I think we knew this was going to happen. Y'all are better at this than I am. I'm trying to wash my hands and hand sanitizers and face mask. I got a whole box of these things. Look at this, man. Look, check this out. A whole box. It takes 2 masks for me because I got to cover this. Most people have a normal size nose, but I got to wear 2 masks. But yeah, I hate that we're all dealing with this, but we're going to get through this thing.
Kenny, you said the clock tower decorating, tree lighting, that's on Saturday. Did you say Saturday the 5th?
Yes, sir.
What?
Yeah, I know that's a unique day with it being Saturday and all, but I guess, that's when the church wanted to do it, and they're working with Needham's Nursery.
Are you doing
Needham's is donating a tree.
Like late afternoon or
4 o'clock?
Hey, you might be in direct conflict with the annual cemetery vigil.
The luminary?
At the cemetery that Sellers does. I think it might even be it might be 5 o'clock, I guess. They might wait until dark. Okay.
Well, what I'll do is I can reach out to the church and see if they can move that. That's a date that they picked, and they probably just didn't realize that, and just see if it's something they're willing to do, to move the date to a different day.
The date's probably okay. There may need to be maybe a 30-minute wiggle for those that, I know that candlelight vigil at the cemeteries, they've been doing that for a long time, and it's usually really well attended, and people may want to do both. But
Yeah, I know that there's something singing for so long, and what they could do is, do you think that the one at cemetery is at 5 o'clock?
I just have it written down.
I think Miss Phyllis is going to chat. Let me confirm it, because what we'll do, like you said, we can always do a delay, 30 minutes.
Let's just, for those that want to do both, those are great community events. So we don't need to compete with ourselves if there's any flexibility. So just a heads up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to make myself a note here, and then I'll call the pastor when I get done with the meeting. And Miss Phyllis, is it 4 o'clock? So they actually do the lighting at 4 for the cemetery? Okay, what I may do then is, even though the event starts down the road, maybe they can move it to 4:30 starting instead of 4. You think they'd give folks enough time to go to one event, have the luminary lighting? Because it's still going to be daylight, I guess, at 4.
Yeah, the ad says 4 o'clock.
Okay. I'll see if they can move that out a little bit then, if y'all think that's acceptable.
If they'd move the tree lighting to, I don't know if there's any flexibility. If not, that's just the way it goes. But if they'd move it to 5, that would give people plenty of time to be blessed twice in one.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll call the pastor, and I'm sure we've got plenty of time. That shouldn't be an issue to get a new notice out.
What else is going on, Kenny? I'd made some notes. Have they set a date for the official swearing in of the new mayor? I know they have to wait on the election to be certified or ratified.
It'll be the next Monday. It'll be at the meeting time, be the normal time at 6:30. So, if everybody gets here, that wants to come, of course, with this COVID, we're trying to be extra careful. So we got the space and things of that nature, and ask people to wear a mask. But yes, next Monday will be the official swearing in, and it'll be the entire commission, because there's 4 members there, and they all either ran for election or re-elected. And of course, Mr. Hefner is new, so it'll be the ceremony will be a little bit longer because we've got 4 people to swear in. So that'll be next Monday.
Have you heard any thoughts from the incoming commissioners and mayor on what their preference might be on the selection process for District 2?
I'm just speculating based on what we did in the past. I haven't talked to any of them directly about, what process they'll follow this time. Normally what they'll do, once everybody gets settled in, that could be sooner than later, they'll do an announcement of some sort. I assume the mayor would do that. And then they'll probably put it out for anybody that's interested, lives in that particular district, can submit their resume and probably an interest letter. And I would think both of those things would be ideal. And I've already had some folks reach out to me that didn't realize you had to live in that particular district. So if anybody's out there that's interested, make sure that that's the appropriate district, the Hickory Hills, Willoughby Station area. If you live in that general area, we can tell you real quick whether or not your home resides in that particular area to where you'd be a candidate. But we're already having some interest, but that's the way I anticipate they'll do it. That's the way we've traditionally done it.
And if you don't already live there, I see Kathy Streets is on here. I'm sure she has a listing in District 2. She could get you in there pronto if you
get you in there pronto if you really want to do that. Absolutely. Yeah. So, but that's why I anticipate they'll do it, because the resume is good. The interest letter is good. Of course, always have that attached to it. And it gives them an idea from when they're reviewing it. And then they'll, I assume they'll do like interviews for interested candidates once they narrow it down or whatever. But so yeah, that's the way to do it. Another thing too, I want to bring up is the bridge at 40. That's let for bid. I'm not 100% sure through Andy if a contractor's been picked yet, but I believe they have. So they're probably ramping up the process to eventually start construction up there. I know everybody's excited about it. It can't happen soon enough for me, and I know everybody else feels the same way.
I know everybody wants it done.
Yes.
But it may take 30 days anyway, but they wouldn't start putting out barrels and restricting traffic and everything right a week or two before Christmas, would they?
No, sir, absolutely not. Yes. And I don't anticipate to happen that soon. And it's unfortunate, but even after a contractor's picked, and most of you will know, especially Miss Phyllis, that once you've been picked, say to build something, it takes you a while to build it into your schedule once you've been selected, and then stage and equipment, everybody understands that. So I don't anticipate And even if it did start construction, we've been promised that there'll be no impediment of traffic. They'll basically start, to the sides and then move and build the new lane. I think we said the same thing last week. So
when Project Sam turned out to be Amazon and they were approved, there was a lot of last minute wheeling and dealing. I mean, literally right up until they took the final vote on road improvements, particularly East Division Street, perhaps from Old Lebanon Dirt Road around Jones Brothers. There was even discussion about, all the way to the chamber office. You got anything you can share with us on, there's more and more traffic, construction traffic particularly, and now with Public Works and all the others over there on Clemens Road, probably everybody on here seeing more traffic than usual on Division Street.
Yeah, and that's a good question. Now that we got a new incoming commission, we've had some in-house discussions about Old Lebanon Dirt Road, East Division, and things of that nature. But in particular, I talked to Mr. Barlow recently, our city engineer. Some of the things they're doing over there as part of the Amazon project, I think there's either 2 to 3 traffic signals as part of that, one at Volunteer, one at 40, and I think the other's a little bit further down, maybe even at East Division. And of course, there's a Greenway Trail that runs along Golden Bear. And there'll also be a trailhead that's basically almost right across the street from the Amazon project. You'll see them doing a little dirt moving over there. As part of that trailhead, there'll be a restroom facility and a parking area that's being built by Amazon as well, or the Panattoni Group. So that's exciting. There was also about $6 million set aside to widen East Division. The unfortunate part of that is it was really just going to be mainly wider shoulders. And so Mr. Barlow's talked recently about, and I agree with him, I'd rather widen a shorter distance of road, but actually widen it. In other words, put a turning lane in, sort of like what you see, Mark, they're closest to your offices. That's going to be widened here real soon as well, at least down by the clock tower, to extend that right turn lane a little bit so more cars can turn off of there. I'd rather see that than I would be to widen the whole section with just wider shoulders. So what I'm hoping ends up happening is that we take the money set aside from Amazon for road improvements, and we actually widen a shorter section, but maybe put some other monies with that through our road improvement program, even if that means if we had to borrow some money or float some bonds to widen the whole section all the way up to East Division. Not East Division, Golden Bear. Does that make sense to everybody?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you'll have Vol State coming in there one of these days, and that's even more traffic. What you do, get it right. If you can't do it all, at least what you do it right.
Yeah, remember, if everybody remembers a couple years ago, we widened Old Lebanon Dirt Road, but it was really more of a new pavement section and a little bit wider shoulders. And even at that, it helped, and we knew it was a Band-Aid. But I think what the commission would like to see, and of course everybody monitoring this morning would like to see, and I know I'd like to see it, is Old Lebanon Dirt Road to get widened to the county line. And I know I've switched roads on you, but to give you an example of why I think East Division should be done the same way. When we did that first section years and years ago of Old Lebanon Dirt Road, you can tell when you're on it because it's much wider. There's big wide shoulders. That's the way I envision Old Lebanon Dirt Road, and that's the way I sort of envision East Division. It'd take a lot more work, and there'd be a lot of cost for East Division because there are no shoulders. But right away and things of that nature on Old Lebanon Dirt Road will be an expense as well. But that's what I'd like to see personally, and I think the commission probably feels similar to the same. I don't speak for them, but if we're going to do it, like you said, Mark, do it right instead of just adding some little bit wider shoulders. Would it make it a little safer? Yes. Would it make a tremendous difference? Probably not. And I'd rather just put more monies with it and do it right. And I think the commission feels that way as well. And with a new commission about to get seated and a new mayor, I know their emphasis, it seems like, has been, of course, always on public safety. But I'm hearing a lot of talk about infrastructure, and that excites me personally because I know that's a big need in our community.
I'm glad to hear that, and I'm sure everybody in business, the more you can move people around quicker, get them from point A to point B, the better for commerce, and everything from school buses on Division Street to the Amazon employees, make it easy for them to get back down here so they can spend their money right in the middle of town. Can you touch real quick? I looked back from last month, 3 things: the former mattress store at I-40, and the Boot Barn, the salon indulgence, and the other one was the I-40 bridge, but you already touched on that. The boot
Yeah,
barn?
the boot barn, of course, everybody sees is coming along well. There is a new tenant that announced there, and I'm drawing a complete blank on who that tenant is, but they're getting a lot of interest there. It's a beautiful development. I think everybody's familiar where the old boot barn used to be on Highway 70, not too far down on the right from Burger King. That's going very well. Mark, I apologize. I can't think of the other tenant that's going in there, and I don't know if I've got it on my list here or not.
I probably made a note of it while you're talking about the mattress store.
Yeah, and the mattress store was supposed to be a pediatric doctor, and I think that's still a potential, but they just hadn't moved as quickly on it as we had hoped because of the COVID. But when I talked to the broker there at that location the last time, that was what was going to go in there. It was going to be a pediatrician.
I wrote down, my notes are a little difficult to read, but on October 19th, I wrote down former mattress store out there by Subway and Bubba Coos.
Yeah, Bubba Coos, the little building just on the other side, the north side of Exxon. That's where Subway and the restaurant called Bubba Coos is going in. Bubba, Koos. And that's a lot like a Chipotle. And I encourage you to check out their website. It's not a one-off restaurant, it's a chain. And I think they're relatively new to Tennessee. So that little building's going to turn out pretty cool. You know, if you remember, it used to be the vitamin store, and they went in and did a total remake of it and dressed it up a little bit. And as soon as they did that, as we expected, we had a lot of interest in the building. And of course, it's been completely leased out.
If Chipotle, they probably at one time or another had interest in Mount Juliet, have they pretty much disappeared off your radar screen?
No, I think they still want to be here, but they're just very selective about where they want to be. And, there's not a lot of spots until Providence Central comes on board or that growth goes further out South Mount Juliet Road to Central Pike. As you can imagine, everybody wants to be right on the road. I don't know if y'all have noticed that or not. They want to be right on the road. As a matter of fact, I got to ask this question. I see a lot of real estate folks out there. I need about either a piece of land that can be redeveloped, hopefully between Old Lebanon Dirt Road, or maybe even, I talked to Mr. Beal last week, Miss Phyllis, about Everett Downs. But we have a really nice furniture store. And when I say really nice, I mean national furniture store that wants to be in Mount Juliet, but they need about a 12,000 square foot building. So I either need an existing 12,000 square foot space, or I need a plot of land that they can build a brand new building on. And preferably, somewhere between West Division and I-40. And so I'm pitching them Everett Downs because I think that's a great spot personally, but they keep saying they want to be closer to the interstate. And when I think of furniture, I think of furniture being a destination where it's there. But these national retailers always want to be as close around the interstate as they can get. And right now we just don't have a lot that's front and center. They want to be right on the road.
Well, times are tough at the Hinesley household, but if you go bringing a Wayfair building in here, I'm done.
All I can say is that y'all would be very excited. That's all I can say right now, but you would be very excited. And it doesn't surprise me that they want to be here. I'm actually surprised it took this long. But when you look at what housing values are out here for, and you look at, we've probably got about a 500 house, inventory of houses. We don't have enough houses in Mount Juliet. That's why we're meeting with these builders every week now, looking to add additional subdivisions. And you're going to see more of that going forward. And the reason is because great folks like you all have made this such a wonderful place.
Well, I know Thursday night on the Planning Commission, I know it's not inside the city limits of Mount Juliet, but you have two that are in the urban growth boundary. One is Canebrake or Cane something over in front of Hickory Hills, and that's several hundred houses. And out off of Bender's Ferry Road by Gay Winds, or I think it's just north of Gay Winds before Gilly Road. Doris Gorman's had that property listed for a number of years, and I see it's on the Planning Commission. They're wanting to change it from, I think, 255 houses to 391. They were talking about executive housing like a Wright Farms, if I'm not mistaken, is in the planning, in Jennifer, the planner, in her synopsis of the project. So that's
right. Is everybody's phone buzzing? Mine is too. We're apparently getting a silver alert or an amber alert, so we all got to look at this. Jolton, Tennessee. So
silver alert. That's it.
Yeah.
Every time I wander around the parking lot, they send out a silver alert. They don't know that I'm going to come back.
But yeah, Mark, I've seen a lot of interest. For example, we met with Beezer last week, and what Beezer's wanting to do is that they're wanting to buy the Martinez property, which is on Lebanon Road, right across from West Elementary School, if you're familiar with that. Back in there, and it also connects in some way to the Tomlinson property. So there's some the exciting thing about that is if we do the park out at the Thomas property, Beezer wants to build. You know, Beezer's been a good builder, just like I had to make sure I always give Miss Phyllis a shout out because they're in the building business as well. And so Beezer's been great to work with. They're looking at the Martinez property, which would have access, I believe, to Curd Road and also maybe Lebanon Road. And what's exciting about that is when these new residential developments start going more out toward the north and the east, in particular like Bender's Ferry and all, that the state takes interest in that because a lot of times these builders are required through the city to do road improvements on Highway 70. So a lot of times that helps us to expedite at least a section of Lebanon Road to be widened when these developments come in. And a lot of times it helps the state to take notice because we've got rooftops going in the area and they can hopefully move forward on widening 70, not only between Park Glen and Golden Bear, but Golden Bear and 109. And with the growth that's going on in Lebanon, especially on the west end, and of course Gallatin, that's going to have to be widened. There's just no doubt about it. And the good thing about it is most of that right of way is going to be easy to obtain because most of those buildings sit way back, and those houses sit way back off the road. And those people are going to welcome it because it's going to make their property probably double, if not triple in value, because the development's going to change out through there at that point. So that's exciting. But unfortunately, just like all state road projects, and Ray knows this better than anybody, the state has been awfully good to the city of Mount Juliet. We are so close on the widening South Mount Juliet Road, the widening of that section on 70, and also the Central Pike interchange. It just takes a while. And, the early part until the Governor's Improved Act went into effect was there just wasn't any money. So at least now there's some money to do those types of things. And the city of Mount Juliet, thanks to our elected body, and I don't think that's going to change. I think they'll even increase going forward, is that they're willing to put some skin in the game to help move these state projects along. And of course, Ray and his team have been extremely helpful to us as well with pushing on the federal level.
Good stuff. Anybody have any questions for City Manager Martin?
Yeah, y'all fire away because then I'll just get on my thing here in a minute and start telling you some other stuff that we're working on.
Well, while they're thinking about it real quick, I want to make sure that I mention you can go through the drive-through or into the branches. There are 9 community banks that today you can start getting your $5 voucher or coupon, and you have a week to pick it up, and then you'll have Saturday to Saturday to spend it at various businesses. I see Julie on here. I know you've already got your red, yellow, and blue bow. We delivered a number of them last week. Miss Phyllis probably has hers. You take that $5 voucher, you spend it, just the business recognizes that as cash, they'll turn it into the banks and get reimbursed for it. So it really is pretty easy money. I'd encourage you to go pick up a couple of them and go out and maybe shop at a place you don't normally go, see the new vendors that are up at the marketplace, or go to one of these new restaurants, sweet biscuits in there, the juice bar, all kinds of them. So be looking for that. The whole idea was to keep the money circulating in our community and in Wilson County. So if everybody on here would just do it, you go in and get your $5 free. If you spend another 15 or 20, all of a sudden you're looking at $1,000 back in circulation, just the people that are on here. So, and that's the difference in a lot of cases on a small retailer of making next month's rent or not. So more on that. It's all over our website. Marla's updating social media practically hourly with it. So help us out. Help us out.
I thought I saw Miss Tina raising her hand, but now her screen is blank. So not sure if she's still there or not, but I'll go ahead and get started. If she comes back, I'll notice her and kick it over to you. But real quick on some new businesses, we're meeting with the Cadillac dealer. Matter of fact, this week, hopefully, about a site they're looking at. They're actually looking now at the site that's right beside Rocky Williams and the Paddocks development. I think they've got a letter of intent on that site, which is good. And they're working with a local civil engineer that's right there in your building, Mark. because they've done a lot of work on that site, and I hope that that helps, because the easier we make it for them, the more likely it is to happen, and the sooner it's likely to happen. And getting a Cadillac dealer here in our city would be awful good. We're also working with the Honda dealership on Belinda Parkway. They want to move their body shop operations. I think I told y'all this the last time, but it's exciting because a lot of money right now is going to Rivergate and Madison that could be coming to Mount Juliet. Plus, it would make it more convenient for their customers. And Umansky, I hope I'm saying that right. The gentleman that owns the dealership owns multiple dealerships. So our hope is if he does better here with his Honda dealership, then he's more apt to bring other brands to Mount Juliet as well. And car dealers are really good for our city. We're also working with a place called Velocity Motors. I encourage you to go look at their website. Your mouth will fall open, because when you look at what the kind of cars they've got there, there's $1 million cars, there's $700,000 cars, things of that nature. Something I can never afford, but I think you'd mentioned, Mark, being seen in something like that. I want to keep pitching that because I really want them to come to our community, so they're looking for spaces. I think one of the spaces they were looking at was the same one the Honda dealer was looking at. And sometimes that's a good thing, but most time it's bad, because if they're both looking at the same spot, then I have to try to find another spot for them. And they're very particular about where they go. They have something in mind. So we're doing that kind of stuff every day. That's exciting. Of course, I mentioned the furniture store. I need help on that like right now. I think we talked about the last time about Chuck E. Cheese is going to stay. I think we talked about Advanced Auto Parts going in the Pier 1 building, but that still leaves me 3,000 square feet, and I feel confident we'll get that filled rather quickly. We have ML Rose still going in the Logan's building, and they're also going to do a remodel and add a patio, and that'll also leave us some square footage in that building, the old Logan's building. So that's exciting. Of course, Sephora, the makeup place, is coming in. That's a good thing. I think it's called, I always get this wrong, Thai Samurai. It's going in over in the Providence area, which is good if you like that type of, I think it's sushi or Thai. It's one of the two. I think it's Thai. That's exciting. Of course, the Taco Bell on Lebanon Road, the Dollar General store on Lebanon Road, the new apartments of broken ground on Lebanon Road, the development that the Robinson family has coming on Old Lebanon Dirt Road, the development that Steve Griffith has coming on West Division Street. I mean, everywhere you look, right in the middle of a pandemic, there's exciting things going on, and our redevelopment. You look at the Goddard day school up at the Paddocks, and you look at the other day school that's coming in over by Jackson Hills, the new gas station, convenience market that's going in there, the Legacy Point. You look at Providence Central. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So times are really good, and they're going to be even better in the future.
When you said the apartments on Lebanon Road, are you referring to the ones on Nonneville Road?
Yes, I'm sorry, Nonneville Road.
Okay.
I don't know why I keep wanting to say Lebanon Road. But speaking of Lebanon Road, those sidewalks are going well.
Yes.
Commissioner Justice is now looking at possibly, while they're in the process of adding all these sidewalks, they're having to move a lot of these poles or replace them with new wooden poles. Commissioner Justice would like in that particular area to upgrade those poles to metal poles like we did with Mount Juliet Road. And once he does that, also have them come back in and add LED street lighting, which would totally transform Lebanon Road. And Lebanon Road and that end of town is really starting to get a lot of interest. That doesn't surprise me at all. And what I hope it drives, I see Miss Julie on here, is like what they did and Miss Phyllis did with remodeling and updating some of these businesses on Lebanon Road. And the Lineberry family's done a great job of that as well. It's amazing how you can take an older building and give it some new life just by changing the facade of it. And all of a sudden, the interest goes up in it, and then also the lease rates go up in it because you're able to attract different tenants. Just like the O'Reilly Auto Parts going in beside the Tractor Supply. No offense, but I am so over looking at that old abandoned car wash. I'm just over it. And so I want to see it gone. And I appreciate all the years of service that it provided. But once something closes, it's time to move on from it and move on to something new. So excited about that and getting that out of there as well.
Tina may be running off to Rotary, but she's back on. You said you saw her waving her hand.
Yes, she had raised her hand. Miss Tina, you there?
I am here. Are y'all here? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I keep having internet issues this morning. I have a huge question, Mr. Martin, because you're my favorite person, right?
That's right.
When is the city going to let loose some money and decorate our street poles for Christmas?
You know, we wanted to do that, and here's a mistake that we made, and it was an innocent one. But when we upgraded to the metal poles on Mount Juliet Road, what we didn't think about doing was what Lebanon did. If everybody remembers, years ago, Lebanon sold their electric power company to, I guess it's Middle Tennessee Electric. And when they did that, they built in a clause that said that Middle Tennessee Electric would either allow them to decorate or they would decorate Middle Tennessee Electric and put up all their Christmas decorations. Unfortunately, we don't have that authority or ability. Middle Tennessee Electric will not allow us to decorate their poles. And that's why when I did the banner poles that you see around, that's why I wasn't able to put those on the actual Middle Tennessee Electric poles. It was an innocent oversight, but I wish we'd have thought of that. You would think if you upgraded to metal poles, you'd be permitted to do that. But that's why it hasn't been done. It's not that we're not willing to do it. It's just we don't have the authority to do it. But I tell you what I will do, since Ms. Tina brought that up. I will reach out to them again and try to plead with them to let us do that, because they don't service poles like they used to years ago, to where you have the the linemen that go up the poles, with the metal stakes in their boots, and they can climb up it. They do it different now. So, but it is a tough act. I think Ray will even tell you, when you start attaching things to electric poles, the power company gets pretty touchy about it unless you have a really strong agreement in place. So does that answer, Ms. Tina? Does that help a little bit?
It does. Now, could we put Christmas wreaths, hang them from the banner poles?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have one here at the corner of my office, so I could actually, without damaging that pole, like maybe with a zip tie or something, put a Christmas wreath on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great. And if somebody has a banner pole in front of their business and wants to decorate it in some way, like you said, they're powder coated, so zip ties won't hurt them any. And so if you've got some decoration ideas you want to do that on, that's absolutely fine with us. Maybe I can even talk some of the folks at City Hall to getting out there and decorating some of them as well.
Adopt a pole.
Yeah, adopt a pole. Exactly.
There you go.
Okay. We have a contest for who decorates it the best.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we do have a contest going on, so there's that.
Yeah, that's have at it. Like I said, and like I said, I'll try to talk to the staff here and see if they've got some ideas on what they're going to want to do as well. But we're going to do the general store, the clock tower, of course, City Hall. And I'm not sure what Mr. Sellers is doing this year. According to him, when the Christmas store decided to come, they were also going to decorate his building. And so I'm hoping that that's still going to happen, even though they're not open yet.
Well, you mentioned earlier a body shop coming along with a Honda dealership. I don't know if a lot of people realize that is a cash cow on sales tax. You can land a big body shop like that. That's a lot of sales tax generated.
You're exactly right, Mark. And everybody thinks they don't look good, but this would look just like the dealership. It would have to be designed and all that same way, but it would be freestanding. And it'd be on the east side of their property. If you ever go over there, they own that upper side lot. And to me, it actually would look better with it to be there than it just to be the vacant lot that it is right now, because it sort of looks unfinished. And so we're excited about that. They picked between us and Murfreesboro, and I said, don't even think about going to Murfreesboro. We want you right here. And so that's exciting. So I know I'm probably leaving some stuff out, Mark. I don't want to bore everybody.
Oh, you're good. I've mentioned it to Chief Hambrick the other day. Any last minute updates or anything on the Christmas parade? Are we still rocking on with that?
Yeah, we're still going on with it. I mean, it's outside. I know we'll probably get some criticism from some folks, but we want to have our Christmas parade. And, you can wear a mask outside, and it's going to be, so you're able to breathe just fine. So we're going to encourage folks, of course, to social distance the best they can, but we understand some of these people are going to be on floats. We get that. But we feel pretty good about if they wear a mask, and that we'll be just fine. I think our community needs a Christmas parade. I think it's important. I really do, to getting that spirit going as we head into a new year.
That morning, you can go to the Rotary Club's pancake, all you can eat pancake breakfast at Courtney's. They'll even bring it out to your car if you don't want to eat inside. 100% of the proceeds go to the Wheels in Motion project. So tickets are available. Take the family out for breakfast before the parade. I don't see any other chat questions or anything like that. We're just a couple of minutes past our 11:30.
Yeah, hey, Mark, let me add something real quick that I may have failed to do in the past. The old Green Hill Women's Club, which is in front of the Little League Park on Highway 70, they are converting that to the new clerk's office for Wilson County in the Mount Juliet location. So the little place we've got behind City Hall, eventually will go away. And they're getting closer and closer to that. I hope that builds some excitement, because if you've ever had to come to the clerk's office here, it's tiny. It's very limited on parking. To this very day, probably even today, people have to stand outside just simply because for the social distance, and there's just not enough room at that space. I'm happy for the folks, the ladies that work in that office, and I'm happy for our citizens as well. And I want to thank Jim Goodall and his team. They do a phenomenal job. But for them to get a new place like that with a whole lot more space, that's going to be good for everybody. So some people had asked me what was going in there, because they've noticed they've put new commercial doors and windows in it. That's what's going there. And I hadn't talked to Mayor Hutto recently, but I think they're possibly thinking about maintaining the building they've got behind City Hall for some other county services, maybe like passports and things of that nature. That hadn't been confirmed yet, but I think there's a desire there to do that. I think that's great, because it would keep our citizens on the west end of the county from having to go all the way to the courthouse in Lebanon. Yeah. So, that's exciting. I didn't want to leave that out.
Well, you made me think of something else. He was on the Coleman show this morning, and I want to props to the city's parks department at the Charlie Daniels Park. They did a bang up job with the election. Doesn't matter where you're at, but you see so much turmoil and everything around the elections. And from everything I saw and heard, Mount Juliet, Wilson County was just exemplary. The accommodations were great. The layout was textbook. The staff was available. I just thought everybody really did a bang up job, and we got a lot to be proud of. So pass along our appreciation for all their hard work.
Absolutely, Martin. I appreciate everybody. This year, even though those that ran for office did a great job as well. In my 31 years with the city, as far as setting the signs back far enough off the road, putting them where you're actually legal to put them, everybody did such a good job this year. And you would think with as big an election year as this was, that would have been worse, and it was perfect. Everybody did a great job. And you're right, Rocky and his team did a phenomenal job, and everybody's patience as far as citizens that were voting, I thought that went really well as well. So thanks for pointing that out.
Kudos to everybody that worked so hard. Ray, we'll all be thinking about you as you head back to Washington. Goodness gracious, buddy. Don't forget us over here. Help us out.
Stay here.
All right. Hey, everybody, have a good week. Let us know if we can do anything to help you. And please go out and get your, stop by the banks, get your $5 coupon and go spend it somewhere that you wouldn't normally do and make somebody's day a little better.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of the day. See you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.